there's no audio.
Yep. Me
Yeah, I
too.
wonder if
there
Bob
was
comes
earlier on, but not now.
There was, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I can hear us. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. OBS decided that it didn't want to play our music tonight, but we're here, so screw it. Whatever. We've got Bob the Science Guy, we've got Professor Phil Bell, and a whole bunch of cool people here as well. So we might as well get right to it. We'll give it over to Dead Kennedy in Space, and he can take us around and see what everybody's up to.
Oh, good Lord. Why do you always go to me? Oh, I don't know. I'm up here in high Earth orbit, so I don't really know what's going on. No, it's been a weird few days, hasn't it? My PC is finally back up and running, so I did a first little test stream of Kerbal Space Program today. I think that went pretty well. 2 days ago, we lost James Randi. He passed away at the age of 92, one of the kind of OGs in the woo debunking world. If you don't know, James Randi was a stage magician who had a particular distaste for the paranormal, had a running bet that has still yet to be met, where he agreed to give $1 million to anyone who can definitively prove anything paranormal. Still hasn't been met, but that's what I've been noticing going on in the world today. Let's see. Let's go around the table and see who's here with us. Bob the Science Guy, how are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm looking forward to our presidential debate tonight. It should be interesting. And then hopefully I'm going to have a chance to make another video. I want to do one on masks tonight and conspiracy theories regarding anti-vax.
Excellent. Excellent. I look forward to that. And Colon, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, just chilling out, relaxing. Looking forward to a nice little chat between Bob and Mr. Sensible, and PhD Tony's just dropped in the door, and Professor Bell. It's going to be a very good night up here in space.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mr. Dawson, I forgot to ask you at the beginning. How are you today?
Oh, good. Had a good night last night. Autism show was real fun. We had a great time with that one. And I'm looking forward to a great chat here because we've got an absolutely stacked group. This is going to be fantastic.
We really do. We really do. Mike Bertelson, how are you today, sir?
Oh, doing really good. Yeah, I was kind of sad to see the amazing Randy had passed. I remember seeing him on TV doing, paranormal debunks in the 70s, if I remember correctly. That's sad. And he's the guy who laid the groundwork for the debunkers of today.
Yeah, he would it's hard to say he directly influenced what we do today, but there's certainly something to what he did that is reflected in what we do today. I'll say that for sure.
How he approached things is similar to the way things go today. And I'm looking forward to seeing those debates tonight too. My wife has already printed out the presidential debate bingo cards, so we're all set.
You really ought to share those. You really ought to share that PDF with the audience so we could all play along as well. It would be especially fun for the folks outside of the U.S.
I'll have to get her to drop that link so that everyone can have it.
Excellent. And I saw you pop in at the last second there. PhD Tony, how are you today, sir? Are muted and meads.
I was double muted. Sorry, I thought I was only muted on the microphone. But yeah, well, wonderful to be here. You've got a very impressive, well, we have a very impressive set of guests here this evening. So yeah, very exciting. I'm very well, thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. Impressive set of guests indeed. Not only do we have Bob the Science Guy, we also have Professor Phil Bell. How are you today, sir?
Very well, thank you. And I hope my mic's coming across okay.
Yeah, you sound good.
Oh, fantastic. All right, so yes, thank you for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to the conversation from here.
Always a pleasure to have you. Always a pleasure. And our, I guess our guest of the evening, because Phil Bell and PhD Tony, they're pretty close to Shills, but Mr. Sensible, he's our guest of today. How are you today, sir?
Ooh, well, today I have mainly been rendering.
In fact, all week, all I've been doing is blooming rendering videos, and then in between, more rendering.
So how much
Render,
silver are you going to
render,
have when you're done
render.
doing all of that?
Oh man, I just had to look, and because I was telling people roughly how much the video was, but I just actually checked the raw video footage from the Mage camera is 59 gigabytes. And there's
Ouch!
another 2 cameras,
Whoa.
and I've got and I've got
Holy
to
cow.
overlay all the telemetry, and I got it all set up. All this telemetry is beautiful. It's got height, it's got temperature, it's got number of satellites, it's got 2 graphs. Fantastic. Kicked it off. It said 12 and a half hours to render it, which is
Just,
not good.
Just,
But I'll
just
tell
be
you,
careful. Just
sorry?
be careful not to lose all that telemetry data. Like NASA lost everything, you know.
Oh yeah, no, I kept it safe. But yeah, so I kicked it off, and I thought I'll come back in the morning, and it failed after 12 hours.
Oh,
man, yeah, so-
heartbreaking!
I know,
God, that's
but
gotta
I spotted what was wrong, so I kicked it off again, and it failed again after another 12 hours. I'll tell you what, I've been absolutely sick of this. Eventually, I kick. Basically, what it does is it chooses the name of the output file, the video. So I changed it to a name I wanted. I thought, oh damn it, let me just use the name it suggests. And I kicked it off for a few minutes, and I thought, no, that's stupid. So I abandoned it. I literally closed the program, and it created a video file. Only the first couple of minutes, and it worked. What?
Wow.
So all it wants is to choose its own name. Brilliant. So I let it choose its own name, kicked it off again, let it run for 12 hours, and it failed. That's now 36 hours of rendering down the train.
Oh.
Down the train.
Is
Okay,
anyone?
Mr. Sensible, remember, taking a life, even that of a computer, isn't the answer.
Give me an axe and I'll give it a reprogramming. It will never forget. But
you know,
I
you're
finished
reminding me of
today,
Monty
this
Python
afternoon.
here.
If you lose all the data, do I get my money back?
I spent it, Bob.
It was
But-
well worth it just to watch your blood pressure go up.
Oh man, I was talking to Colin this afternoon while I was doing rendering, and I have finally come to the solution because I'm using some software called Dashware, which is some clever software, but it leaves something to be desired. You know, it's now owned by GoPro, so that's their offering, but support is non-existent. But what I found out, I thought, hell, I'm just going to try. Rather than try and render the whole sort of 3 hours worth, I'll just try and render about 20 minutes. And it chugged away. And 20 minutes takes about 3 times as long. So that's an hour to render 20 minutes. And it worked. So I thought, that's brilliant. So let me do the next 20 minutes. And that worked. And then I thought, will the 20 minutes marry up together properly? And it does. And right now, I've been doing it all afternoon. Colon can vouch for that. And I'm now on part 5. It's got another 12 minutes to go of 1 3/4 hours. And I'm up tonight until I get the rest done. I've got about another 3 hours worth. I don't want to render anymore.
Long night ahead. Before we get kicked off in the conversation here, I do just want to finish going around the table.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Keeping an eye on the chat and keeping us all in line as usual. We have the tag team of Aimee and Matt. How are you guys today?
We are doing great. Thank you. We had our first day with our new in-home supports, and it went really well. He's really enjoying it. So yay. We had a great time on autism last night. He loved reading, the stuff with us, and it was a great evening. So that was fun. And we've got some great shows coming up this weekend. So stay tuned, everybody. And thank you, everybody, for coming.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, where were we?
Well, I think there's lots we can cover, lots to go over. I think since we've heard a lot about some rendering, we should probably look to Mr. Sensible and see if he's got a little inside tidbit for us, maybe, before everything gets, properly shown to everybody coming up.
Oh, you're after some of the lowdown on what Mage 2 actually managed to do, are you?
Well, maybe a little inside story of, it was really close, because you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be what, you know what I mean? Just one of those maybe anecdotal side things that's interesting,
Come on, admit it, Dick. You want the actual final height so you can quickly enter the competition and win a Mage patch. Okay, what I can say is with Mage, I kept up the excitement and the interest and had the live reveal, and it only got up to 5,287 meters, which was a real disappointment. But I wanted people to really be involved, feel the excitement, and feel, oh no, the frustration. And that was down to a manufacturing fault in the balloon. And I said, and I've been open, that for Mage 2, I would not string people along like that. And so after Mage 2 flew, I put a community post out to say, yes, it has flown. Yes, it has been recovered. And yes, it has flown to a decent height. I've not revealed that height, but it's a decent height. So we're talking many thousands of meters high, many thousands.
Nice.
Many thousands. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's really encouraging how you said that. You're excited to tell everybody, aren't you?
Oh, yes. And I'll be even more excited when it's rendered. But
so, Mr. Sensible, do you think you're going to be able to give us a definitive answer on the shape of the Earth?
Well, I have done.
He could do that already, but
well, we don't want you to spoil anything. But you think maybe you might be able to have a definitive answer.
Well, I think it's looking pretty good, Bob. I'm going to be able to demonstrate quite a few things because with Mage 2 we put on extra instrumentation. I put on extra. Sorry, yeah, we put on a thermometer and a barometer. So I've got nice plots of the temperature curve, nice plot of the atmospheric pressure curve, and that is really interesting. And in addition to that, we've got the actual balloon itself. Because we've got the upward facing camera, you can see that changing size, which is interesting. And then, of course, the whole point of Mage is the Mage narrow angle camera with the two taut lines. And the lines show up beautifully. There is a very slight issue, which will be revealed tomorrow, but it's not a game changer. And there's going to be some interesting results, and there will be a little room for argument, which will be interesting. But I'm very pleased with it, Bob. I'm very pleased. It's I could not have asked for more. And as I just see Dave N has said in the side chat, because I did a stream a couple of days ago, sort of straight after Mage 2 flew, and I showed as a sneak peek to everyone the balloon bursting. And it was spectacular because the balloons can either sort of rip and you've just got all the balloon flapping around as one piece with a great big tear in it, or they basically explode. They shatter into hundreds of pieces, which is what happened. And it was stunning.
Oh, cool. That's always better too, because you don't have that flapping thing as it's coming down. That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's still the tail end of the balloon, but I did it as stop animation, frame by frame, and you can see, because this has already been revealed, you can see the balloon shattering in pieces, exploding like some sort of firework, and the balloons made of latex are coated in talcum powder inside and out. Obviously, the outside is all gone, but the inside, as it bursts, we are presented with a bubble of the hydrogen gas coated in the talcum powder. So you've got this explosion of remnants or fragments of balloon bursting outwards and revealed within a sphere of talcum powder, a bubble of gas. It's absolutely beautiful.
Nice. Excellent.
I have to say, Mr. Sensible,
I'm so sorry, Tony. Before you go, I think there's a super chat that Amy's been waiting for.
Okay.
Yes, please, if I could.
No, I can't see it.
Yes, you can.
Jessica G. Fortuna said, Matt's avatar is boobs. Stop it now. Do not send a super chat. I'm blocking you.
Oh no! Thank you very much. That's funny. It does too.
Sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
That's okay. The moment for this might be well and truly past, actually. But while Mr. Sensible was relaying his travails, I was reminded of the scene from Monty Python and the Holy Grail about the guy building his castle in the swamp.
Definitely.
Caught fire and then sank. Caught fire, fell over and then sank. Yeah. That's what I was in mind of. So
yeah, and I've got a married princess. I've got a married Princess Lucky.
That's right.
Yeah, so I am very pleased with it because we went to a decent. It's not like we went up, I don't know, say 8 or 9 kilometers. Yeah, nice view, but it doesn't show anything at all. We went up to a decent height. You know, I'd have liked a little more, but then wouldn't we all?
Yeah.
But I was happy with
said.
Absolutely. It's what Mrs. S is always telling me. But I was happy with what we got.
Excellent. Good to hear, man. Good to hear. I know a lot of people are really, really following along, and it's one of those things where, you know, you might have a lot of people cry fake and stuff afterwards because, let's face it, they're never satisfied with anything. But if you get in a debate with somebody and they say, well, have you done it for yourself? You can say, bloody well, right. Fuck you.
Dick, I've had exactly that. I had some guy arguing on Nathan Oakley's side chat about the temperature. He's just basically saying the higher you go, the colder it gets. And I said, no, that's not the case. And he argued. He said, well, how do you know? I said, because I've been up there and looked. And so that was sweet. That was sweet. That was sweet.
Oh yeah, that must have tasted good. I would have suggested maybe a red with that.
I hate that argument too. Well, how do you know you didn't do it? Well, do I have to have done it? Do you have to do surgery before you let the doctor do it?
This is true.
Yeah. Have you built a television? Have you filmed a television show? Have you, have you made a telephone? You know, it's absurd, and it at once invalidates all of science outside of personal experience, which is a ridiculous assertion. You know,
yes, it
we
is.
have to rely on science.
Well,
Nobody can know everything.
My normal response is, you know, who died and left you the arbitrator of science?
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So unless you can demonstrate you have the credentials to have an opinion that's actually worth anything as to what is and isn't science, run along, kid.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe we do. Maybe we do have to do it all for ourselves. You know, you start off at school and you start off by learning how to bang the rocks together and move on from there.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, like, if that were the system, if the system worked the way they think it does, every scientist in the world would have to start with inventing fire, and we'd never progress anywhere.
Fire, a dream of fire. I'm starting with the rocks.
Yeah, I mean, we'd barely be at Faraday's time. I mean, we would have, if everybody, I mean, there would be still people, practicing alchemy at that. Stupid.
I don't think
we got to have the right rocks, though.
Yeah,
if we had to make every scientific discovery ourselves, we'd get nowhere near Faraday's. We'd have to start with flint knapping, and and then we'd have to. And then it comes down to the flat earther idea of how you conduct an experiment. So you can't actually bang rocks together until you've got some intellectual formulation of what you expect to happen. And
I'm sorry. Excuse me, just point of clarification here. What is a rock?
That's right.
How do you know what a rock is? Can you define a rock for me?
All right, right there.
And it's their entire methodology is based around basically saying that there's no such thing as science except what we say. And then, having gone through, this is how you conduct experiments, blah, 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 they'll look at one fuzzy picture of an oil rig and go, well, there you go, that proves that. Well, hang on, you were just finished explaining what science is or is not, and then you're showing me a picture. That doesn't count. That isn't your own standard. But whatever.
Sometimes we do go back, don't we? Sometimes, as educators, we purposely go back in time so that we can demonstrate what Faraday did, or Boyle, or whoever it is. So we go back to the experiments that they did in the past and show that to students. My desk is just full of bits and pieces of things that are, for scientific experiments. So it's a good thing that we have a record of what was actually done and how it was done. For instance, Blue Marble Science putting together the Cavendish experiments, fantastic. And so there's all these sort of things that we continuously are revisiting, evidence that's come from the past. And guess what? It still works.
Yes. I had this exact discussion with a science denier this week, as a matter of fact. And I told him, he goes, you're just blindly believing what you're told. I said, no, that's not how this works. I mean, even some of it, is acceptance, but you go to high school and you go to college, you go to a class, you learn how something works. You learn how to use math to predict the outcome of how that thing works. Then you get a lab and you use the math and the theory to predict the outcome of the lab. You run the lab and you compare your results to what your predictions are. It's a literal theory to practice. You actually learn how it works, then you do how it works. So it's not, there is some acceptance where, okay, you've learned this and you've learned that, you've done this and you've done that. So this next thing, that makes sense because I know how this works and I know how that works. I've done this, I've done that, and then this follows.
Exactly. Here's a good analogy of that. So, you get a guitar, you don't really know how to play, but you tune it by twisting the pegs, which tightens or slacks the strings. Yep. And it doesn't take your brain very much to jump and go, oh, so if I bend the strings when I have my fingers on the neck and I play a note, I can change the tone. And because it's the same thing done in a different way. And you don't have to do it and go, oh, it does work. You instantly know it will.
Yes. So there is that whole you're all just blindly accepting what you're told always puts a sour taste in my mouth because that's literally not the truth.
So one thing many of these conspiracy theorists don't like are powers of deduction. I'm not sure if it's because they don't have any powers of deduction, or they simply don't believe in it. But yes, that's basically one of their biggest hates.
Well,
I think it's. Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's all right. Go ahead, Tony.
Well, I had a gripe. So I think it was on one of your videos, Bob, that Nathan Oakley was admitting that there was a pressure gradient and explaining that this is because there aren't any trees at 35,000 feet. And my response was, well, trees don't make gas, and trees convert carbon dioxide into oxygen. And their issue with that statement is that the oxygen released by photosynthesis actually comes from the water, not the carbon dioxide. And so there's apparently an arcane piece of chemistry that you can do that shows that there's no carbon fixing by the chloroplasts, and therefore all of the oxygen is coming from the water. And you're going, well, okay, but if you know that much science, then you know that trees aren't responsible for gas entering the atmosphere. Trees have nothing to do with it. And furthermore, you know that your entire argument that the pressure gradient in the atmosphere is due to where the gas comes from is spurious junk in the first place. And you also know that the Earth is round. If you're going to accept, the science that you just put out, why aren't you accepting the rest of science? Why is this the bit of science that you're fixated on? And I'm grateful to them for teaching me about that, because I didn't know it ahead of time. But it sort of ignores the point that I was trying to make willfully. Like they've got no interest in genuinely engaging in a scientific discourse.
Well, as someone just said, I think it is they do maybe not lack the power deduction, but they don't attempt to use it. One guy posted a video today and from an airplane of the sun below the clouds. And he said, boom, this destroys heliocentrism. I said, did you really think about that before you posted it? Because the fact that the sun is below the clouds and no one's been able to fly right up to it, direct measurements and study the damn thing, kind of means that it's not physically below the cloud. And thank you very much for just proving the globe. You got to think about the things you say before you say them. He was like so happy with himself that he just proved the globetards wrong. And I said that, and all of a sudden he disappeared from the thread completely. No one's seen him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the other thing, is that they've got no, it's been a while since I've mentioned Seek Truth, Speak Truth, but he had the intellectual honesty to go, you know what, I was wrong.
Yes.
And I'm not going to go away and hide. I'm going to take ownership of the fact that I was wrong. And frankly, that takes courage. That takes actual gut.
Tony, your mic's doing that crackly thing again. Can you do that? Unplug and plug it in again?
Sure.
I don't know why it keeps doing that, but we'll figure it out after. It's temperamental. I don't know why it does that to him, but if he unplugs it and plugs it back in, it instantly calms down and behaves. So we'll have to figure it out.
Well, if Davros promised not to yell at me in the chat, I might be able to, mention a little something on this, and that is that these flares it's not that they lack the insight or the ability to do deductive reasoning. What they're using science for is something to try and disprove, or they want to come up with a definition of science that will invalidate your evidence to the contrary of their assertion. That's all they want to use science for. They don't want to find anything with science. They want to try and out-define your evidence.
Well,
yeah, it's not.
I'm sorry. They have no problem using science when it suits them, though.
Well, the bottom line is the second law of thermodynamics is, of course, the word of God, but the universal law of gravity, which is equally a law in science, of course, that you can disregard.
Yeah. You were saying, Dick?
For me, it's the difference between seeking validation and investigation. Right? Because they don't want to investigate and learn. What they want is something that pats them on the back and says, good boy.
I mean, I've been saying it for like a year or two now that they don't want to learn, because if they did, they would be doing one of many things to definitively prove the flat Earth that they could do, like go and find the ice wall, go and fly to the sun, give us a sample of the dome. There's a million things they could do to definitively prove the flat Earth, but they won't because they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't want to because it undoes their belief, and therefore they have no justification for remaining in this stupid cult.
Well, I think it's worse than that, Phil. I think they just can't. They're just incapable. I mean, you look at the sort of work that say Blue Marble Science does, or the experiments that he designs to illustrate stuff, or the stuff that Mr. Sensible has been doing. They're not capable of that sort of stuff. They're not capable of even basic scientific methodology. They can't design an experiment. They can't implement one.
But I don't really know that that's true for all of them. I mean, as much as I hate the guy, Bob Nodell's not really he's not really that dumb. He's actually a pretty smart guy, and I don't know where the bias, his cognitive bias, comes from, or how he refuses to see what's right in front of him. But he does accept certain things about the nature of the world around him, like gravity, but still claims that it's flat and had to build his own gyroscope because all commercial gyroscopes are measuring the drift of the ether. But that's how you get to that point. I don't know.
I don't believe him. I don't believe that he thinks the Earth is flat.
That may be true too. I don't take him.
Well,
for the
I
kind
think
of,
if you,
I'm going to second Phil.
Yeah, because Bob spends an awful lot of time on this without the monetary gain that somebody like Oakley's always trying to get.
I think Bob spends a lot of time in front of the computer with a large pump bottle of hand cream beside him, to be honest.
if you listen to the back and forth that he had with Professor Dave, where he attributed tides to the action of the heavens, you're just that is a pretty stupid thing to say, and you could be guided there by religious fundamentalism, but it is just a really stupid thing to say, and so I just don't know. It may be, as you say, there may be some cognitive bias, there may be some ideological preference that's driving him to these conclusions, but he ends up in some pretty dumb places.
Well, he likes to attribute a lot of things to the drift of the heavens, the rotation of the heavens. I mean, they had after the whole fiber optic gyro debacle, FE Corps, the supposed flat Earth engineers and scientists, tried to find, tested a whole bunch of commercial gyroscopes, and every one of them showed some kind of a drift, a three-axis drift, and they were like, yeah, obviously it's measuring the movement of the heavens, of the ether above. And it's like, well, how can you make that? What is the basis behind making that claim? And that's why they decided to build their own. And so his bias may be totally religious based. I don't know. He doesn't seem to carry the religious fervor that a lot of the religious based flat earthers do, but he has a true.
Gyroscope.
Some of them do it. Oh, sorry, Kev. Go ahead.
I was going to say the gyroscope matches heliocentrism, and his first excuse is heavenly energies. That sounds pretty religious to me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it kind of does.
He was talking about everybody who goes to Antarctica is a Mason, and the governments that have signed on to the Antarctic Treaty, having black money, dark money budgets to sort of fend everybody away. All of which is paranoid nonsense, right? I mean, I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people I know who have gone to Antarctica as tourists.
Yeah.
I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know dozens of people who have gone to Antarctica.
Shills, Shills, Tony.
As researchers,
including
they are. But it's just like and they're all Masons, are they?
Yeah. Well, does he realize that for about $2,200-$2,300 US, he could take a cruise in December all the way down, to Antarctica, see the 24-hour sunlight, take excursions from the ship onto the South Pole, even all the way to the South Pole in some cases. So it isn't, if he could do it, if he could spend, instead of spending 20 grand on a fiber optic gyro, take 2,500 people to Antarctica, then that would make him a Mason. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Or you can just hire a boat. Why don't flat earthers get together, rent a boat, and sail it towards Antarctica and see who they meet? Like, see if, because there's actually nobody down there to stop them. There's nobody. You can just sail all the way up to it.
What about the NASA Navy and the Penguins?
The NASA Navy.
NASA Navy.
Bob, have I shared with you the dire news about penguin mouths?
Oh no! Don't do that again. I'm still in counseling.
For those of you who don't know, I once made the mistake of looking up what the inside of a penguin's mouth looks like, and I have to share the misery because it is absolutely terrifying. Just
spitting image of Nathan Oakley, really.
How dare you? How dare you slur penguins, sir?
But one has to wonder why you would be interested in looking up something that specific.
I want to know who the hell took a picture of that. It had to be some college student down there who says the folks back home ain't going to believe this shit.
Well, the one that I saw, it looks like the penguin is actually having a bite at the camera. So somebody's come up close to a penguin, and the penguin sort of looked cute, and then they're going to take a photo, and the penguin's tried to bite the camera in a defense mechanism, and you can see right there, and you just go, oh, holy dooly, that is some terrifying stuff. That will haunt my nightmares.
Now I'm gonna have to go look that up.
You're going to be scarred by it. Be warned.
Don't. Just don't. Just don't.
While you're at it, if you also want to know where they got the inspiration for the Sarlacc pit from Return of the Jedi, look up the inside of a leatherback turtle's mouth.
Ew.
I'm pretty sure Bob, being a physician, has seen some pretty awful things.
Yes.
Or not.
Well, that's different. I've seen some things go awfully wrong. Let's put it that way. Things that shouldn't be wrong I've seen very wrong things.
Anybody been out looking for videos and found anything interesting lately? I found one guy. I'll try to dig up the link here in the background after I describe it. But very, very small new channel and getting all the basics completely wrong. And one of those really angry sort of dudes. Not quite on Pratt's level, but kind of close. Absolutely flabbergasted and exasperated that people can't see how right he is. One of those guys. But has anybody found anybody that actually has an argument that we haven't heard 1,000 times?
I did the other day, and I was thinking about doing a video on it.
Please do tell.
And our friend Banjo, Wolfie's buddy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have. Yep.
His new argument is Antarctica doesn't exist because there's not GPS coverage there. As in that GPS coverage is a requirement for something to be real.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell him that we had, this one thing that didn't have GPS coverage, like 1950. And apparently 1950s were real, but
yeah.
Not to me, they weren't. I'm much younger than that.
Well, I'm pretty same argument about the ISS. Just the other day, I heard a guy say that about the ISS, about how its orbit doesn't cross the Antarctica, so that proves that the Earth is flat. I'm like, but you believe in the ISS, then, don't you? Because you'd have to believe in one in order to be able to make the claim about the other. And the orbit. That's right.
It's a bizarre. All of this is based on a bizarre refusal to understand how satellite orbits work. Right? Yes. GPS coverage is very bad in Antarctica because there's actually not a lot of point to having strong GPS coverage in Antarctica. And you actually need to be able to see 4 satellites well above the horizon in order to get accurate GPS results. And actually, there is sufficient GPS coverage in Antarctica that we do put receivers down there. We actually do engage in a lot of the people my group sends down to Antarctica are there to maintain and install GPS receivers. And it's not easy. The coverage isn't fantastic. You do drop in and out. It's more towards the center of the continent where you begin to lose coverage completely. It's not. It's certainly not around the edge because we do install and analyze GPS receivers. If you look up GPS receivers for Pine Island, for instance, it's undergoing some astonishing rate of uplift, something like 4 centimeters a year, as a result of the change in surface load. And we know that because there's been a broad, that I think they put in something like 6 GPS receivers in sort of 2 orthogonal transects meeting at the top of the glacier there. So I mean, that's just wrong. In short, I could have just said he's wrong, but I prattled on for way too long. Sorry.
Oh, well, Jen, we should get Dead Kennedy in here. What was it you were trying and did you finish? I think that means docking, and no male asses came together in the making of this project.
Jesus. What a way to intro that. Yeah, I did a Kerbal Space Program stream, just a quick little one, basically to see if my computer could handle it. It did quite well. And my mission was to prove to my audience that I actually can dock 2 spacecraft in orbit, because the last time I attempted to do so on video ended in complete failure. It went great, and I had a lot of fun, and I plan on doing more of them soon. All I got.
Cool. Yeah. It was well viewed. It went over really good.
It seemed like it. It seemed like people enjoyed it. A couple people said definitely do more of this. So that's
yeah. Theo, no, come on now. It's a snow globe.
I think it was Tony or Phil, I'm not sure, was mentioning earlier on about seek truth, speak truth.
It was me. Yep.
It was you, Tony. And you said sort of big shout out to him for admitting he was wrong about something. Well, I want to give credit to someone else for doing similar. There's a guy who follows my channel, Mohammed Shafiq, and he started his own channel. It's an excellent little channel, and it's growing nicely. And his nemesis is Mark Steele, he of the 5G weapon system. Now, Mark Steele has, as we all know, been wonderfully had his butt kicked by the excellent MC Toon with a fake document that was leaked to him. Now, apparently, and I wasn't even aware because I'd never seen it, both Mark Steele and his sidekick, Lee Garrett, also known as Sir Robin because he keeps running away, they appear regularly on a channel, some talk show. I think, is it called the Woke Show or the Really Woke Show, something like that? Or Woke Again? I can't remember. The guy who runs that channel has booted them off. He has, and you can find out details on Mo's channel.
Right. Okay.
He basically said Mark Steele is a fake. He said he's been found out by this video, MC2, and he links to MC2's video, even though this guy is one of these woke truthers. He said, hey, I still think there's questions to look into about 5G, which, of course, I don't think so, but he does. However, got to give him credit for booting Mark off, for admitting Mark's being found out as a fake and not just trying to ignore it. So I want to give him a shout for that.
Yeah, I think that's right. If somebody wants to ask questions in good faith, they need to be rewarded for that. Phil Bell was giving. I saw Phil Bell. Actually, I think it was on EiE Network, where you were saying that if people are worried about 5G, they should, for the love of God, stop wearing purple, because it's infinitely more harmful. Do you remember that?
Not sure offhand.
That explains a lot about the fall of Rome.
Might do. But it's just the argument that 5G is on the wrong side of the visible light spectrum, to be confused with ionizing radiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
This would be a lot easier if Phil was still in the conversation.
Yeah, he must be he must be on a busy moment or something in the background at the moment, because that was the perfect, come in and take some of this, and there was nothing doing.
Jess says, good old room killer Tony strikes again. That's me.
Trying to do a bit of multitasking as well.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Is roboting.
Yeah, so I've got some reports to write, and while I'm doing this, listening to you, joining in when I can, and writing some reports at the same time.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, it's nice to know I'm not the only one parallel processing, because I'm actually reviewing a paper while I talk with you guys. So I'm reading up on what is it, particle filters at the moment. But anyway. Oh,
that's interesting. Have you done any? Have you had any look at graphene filters?
So this is actually a mathematical technique more than it is a physical filter. So this is a mathematical and I realized as soon as I said it. So the people in I have to say, I've only just been introduced to this. It's a mathematical data assimilation thing. Seems to be related to Kalman filtering.
Right.
It's some sort of offshoot of that. Not anywhere as interesting as actual particles. Anyway.
Okay, so
like from asteroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the type of physics I do is really about using actual, products, actual physical things, and working with them, and I'm particularly interested in graphene at the moment, and trying to work out how the hell we can get that to make that much cheaper, because it's fantastic stuff, but so expensive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't graphene suggested as one of the sort of a way. It's an air scrubbing technique, right? Can't you reduce carbon dioxide concentrations by using that?
That and more,
right?
About water filtration.
Okay.
There's all sorts of very, very useful and very, very strong fibers as well.
Yeah.
So no, it's going to be. It's when it becomes more cost effective, and then we can actually, the properties of this can be used in industry, then probably maybe not in my lifetime, but certainly later on it'll definitely be very, very common.
Yeah, it's already a very high grade lubricant, isn't it?
Yes, it's when you think about it. I mean, what do you want a lubricant to be? To have as much surface area as possible. And it's pretty hard to get any better than that.
I realized belatedly that me asking Phil about lubricant is possibly going to cause Jessica G to explode, but that's a risk we're just going to have to take. But it strikes me that people, we watched a video last week, a multi-tom-tom video where he was saying that, if the Earth is spinning to the east, then the water in the ocean should pile up to the west. And my instant response was to start yelling, well, yes, it does. And we can measure it. It's called, Western intensification of boundary currents. Snappy name. It just, oftentimes people can have a correct question. They can have a valid reason to ask a question, and then they don't bother to go up and check on it. They don't bother to do any actual research about it or ask anybody who might know. They just assume, well, nobody else has ever thought of this, therefore, and the evidence must not exist because I haven't heard of it, and therefore everything's wrong.
I actually love the idea that nobody in the history of science up until me and my idiot friends figured out that the second law of thermodynamics violates heliocentrism.
Yeah, well,
the other way around.
Yeah,
it's just it's so strange that that's such a big point to them, and it's like you'd think somebody else would have figured this out and brought some actual evidence to the table by now.
Well, I did ask Spurs Chemo about this, and he said he didn't come out and say flat out that he was one of the smartest people on the face of the planet. But he did say, well, we've discovered that the Earth is flat and we've discovered all this other stuff. So really, we are a lot brighter than you guys. Well, I guess if that's where you want to live.
In my debate,
say that.
Sorry, Mike.
That's all right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in my chat with Spurs, he insisted that the atmospheric pressure did not have a gradient up to 50 miles.
Yeah.
We questioned him about the death zone near the top of Everest, but apparently some people have survived in the wheel wells of aircraft, and so therefore that disproves it. Never mind the fact that most of them who tried that died.
No, he's talking about Schwarzenegger in that old movie Commando. Come on, that's BS.
He did say that the people who died were the ones who weren't very fit. So apparently a lot of people could get nearly to the top of Everest without being fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, you can easily, let's suppose that we couldn't measure pressure, which obviously we can. So, we could prove that the pressure at the bottom of a mountain and the pressure at the top of a mountain. In fact, we can prove that the pressure at the bottom of a reasonably small hill and the pressure at the top of a reasonably small hill are different by looking at the boiling point of liquids, right? The boiling points of liquids drop as you decrease the pressure. We can demonstrate that in the laboratory, and then we can go and do it out in the field. Bang, you're done, Spurs.
6020 did that pressure with his an app on his cell phone that measured atmospheric pressure, and he did it with just a hill, just like you said. A hill is all he needed to measure a difference in pressure.
Yeah, sorry, Tony.
Go on. No.
I was just going to say, I've measured it rather big time with the measure.
Yes.
And not only have we measured it, in which case they can turn around and say, "Oh, well, you can't trust those measurements." I can physically demonstrate it with the actual balloon expanding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that's how it works, Dick. That you put in so much gas, and as it goes up, the pressure, the atmospheric pressure reduces. Therefore, the pressure in the balloon can overcome it slightly, and it expands, until it reaches the point where the latex of the balloon can no longer take it. It bursts, and the whole lot comes down again. I don't know, something to do with eggs, salt, and TDS meters. Okay.
So here's a question. So in the troposphere, temperature does decrease as you move higher in the troposphere, right? Why does that happen? if hot air rises, why does temperature decrease as you move higher in the troposphere?
Right. Well, as for the temperatures in the different layers and what the names are, I don't really know. What I can demonstrate is the temperature goes down, 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 up, 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 and then down, down, down more slowly.
Yep. And that is a big hint. I'll tell you what, because that I now have a big hint as far as how high you got, because I know you got.
There you go.
If you look at atmospheric temperature, so the troposphere is the lowest 10 kilometers or whatever. It's the portion of the atmosphere where the dominant form of heat transport is actually convection, because the density of air is high enough in this level that moving heated air up or down is a really efficient way of moving heat around. But once you get high enough that isn't so efficient, then actually I think just radiative heat transfer becomes the dominant form of heat motion inside the atmosphere, and convection doesn't occur so much. So convection doesn't account for as much of the heat transfer. But inside the troposphere, if you're in a plane, for instance, and you're flying at roughly 10 kilometers, you'll notice that the temperature outside is really, really cold, which seems to contradict the fact that hot air rises. But it's precisely because of what Mr. Sensible just said. As it rises, it expands. As it expands, it pushes the surrounding air away. In order to do that work, it loses temperature. So it uses its temperature to do the work of pushing the surrounding atmosphere away. So that's why air gets colder in the troposphere as you get higher. But what I want is for a flat earther to explain why that happens. Because if there's no pressure gradient, if there's no change in pressure, why does the air get colder?
As a matter of fact, that pressure gradient is so consistent with altitude. Meteorologists will actually measure, or when they're looking up like wind speed, like the jet stream wind speed, they'll talk about altitude in pascals, not in meters or
exactly. Because it's much easier to get accurate pressure measurements than it is to actually get really accurate altitude measurements on a moving balloon that's bobbing around and doing on.
From Mage, I have got the most beautiful pressure curve, the pressure gradient curve. Absolutely stunning. I mean, the temperature is interesting. You can see its flow, but you can see wiggles in it. The pressure gradient is almost perfect curve.
Nice.
Well, that's one of the reasons that we use pressure altimeters in aircraft, and we have to be able to know our altitude to within 100 feet or so.
Yep.
Well, you'll be happy then, Bob.
Have you ever heard
always happy. That's my nickname. Happy Bob, the
Happy Bob
assassin.
Have you ever heard of so there was one university, I think in the US. No, I can't remember where, to be honest. But one of their questions for PhD graduates was, how would you determine the height of a building with a barometer? And there's Blue Marble. Hi, Blue Marble.
Well, that was supposed to be Niels Bohr, wasn't it?
It might have been Niels Bohr, but they were really unhappy with this. Question, and they came up with like 100 alternative ways to find the height. You could drop it from the top and time how long it took to get to the bottom. You could put it on a pendulum from the top and measure the change in gravitational acceleration between the top and the bottom. You could give it to the architect and he could tell you what the height of the building was. And obviously the technique that they wanted him to use was measure the air pressure at the bottom and at the top of the building. But instead he came up with 100 different ways to determine the height of a building with a barometer.
you drop it.
Yes, you could drop it. That would work.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember reading that story and the business about the architect. You could say to the architect, tell me, how tall is the building? You can have this really nice barometer.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You could measure the height of the barometer and then use it as the apex of a triangle to measure the height of the, just measure the angle up to the
similar triangles.
Yeah,
or
that's right.
Just use it as a measure. Mark up how many barometers tall it is.
What's your unit of length? 1 barometer.
1 barometer.
Yes,
absolutely.
True.
I think you should lay it on the ground and measure the angle to the top of the building from the top of the barometer, and then go a little closer to the building and measure the angle there, and then use Al-Biruni's method to determine the height of the building.
Ah, okay.
There you
interesting. Go. Yes, that would work too.
This reminds me of something I was watching just recently about when they built the CN Tower in Toronto. And one of the most crucial things they used to make sure that tower was going up straight and true and proper, or whatever those people say, is plumb bobs. And they really did.
Yep.
Just because it's tried and true, it's simple, and it always works.
Yeah. And I love that. You watch one of these Ancient Aliens morons. How could they do that with such simple tools? Well, let me explain it to you, moron.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a long string.
I was talking to that idiot Bev Troy Thinking about a week or so ago.
Shit.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
I love that. It's kind of
during some of my research into bits and pieces about level and using plumb bobs and so on, I was looking at the details about the 2 towers of the bridge. I can't think what it's called. It's a suspension bridge anyway in America. And
Verrazano Narrows.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. And you know how it is. You look at one thing, get caught up, look at another. And I found out that the Empire State Building was the first building ever built that if you jumped off the top of it, you could achieve terminal velocity because it was tall enough.
Yeah.
Useful to know.
That is useful to know.
Interesting factoid. Well, I managed to use it in that discussion. Well, if I'll ever use now I used it in this one, so it's helped me out twice.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Incoming in a minute there, Colin. Blue's got the link. We can get an update on Cavendish.
Ah.
Right?
I think he's been sanding his balls as his latest update.
You had to, didn't you? That's an awesome one. Oh, I can't wait to hear a grown man talk about how he's been playing with his balls. This is going to be good.
Making him symmetric.
Now, the question is, did he do it by hand or did he use a vibrating tool?
I bet it was by hand, because you gotta control that rather delicately.
Yeah, sonic vibration or a proper polish by hand.
And if he uses his left hand, it would feel like it's somebody else, wouldn't it?
The warning. He'd be like, "Oh shit, I'm not joining this group." Hey, Blue, how's it going?
Yeah, I'll give the warning now. Blue's in the house. Watch out.
There goes the neighborhood.
What the hell have I gotten myself into now? Oh my God.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
All right.
I've been out in the shop trying to wrap things up.
How are your balls, Blue?
Huh? I sanded my balls the other day, and they feel much better now. They're within 10 grams of being the same weight
Wow.
each, which would indicate that they're probably the same mass. Which makes me happy.
Nice. Yes. And no, this is not a commercial for Manscaped, so get it out of your head.
I don't think anyone but you was thinking that.
Yeah, I know. I just had to say it though because it was funny.
I I was going to say, I've
Please
got one
go, Tony.
question. I've got one question for Blue. Are your balls concentric?
Are my balls what? Huh?
Are they concentric?
Concentric balls? No, not really.
They'd be inside one another if that was the case.
Yeah.
But what is the diametrical tolerance between the two?
Sorry.
This is pure scientific nerdism, but there is an experiment going on in Sydney where they are trying to work out Avogadro's number as precisely as they can. And in order to do this, they're constructing a sphere whose radius they're trying to get accurate down to 1 molecule width. If they can get the radius accurate to 1 molecule width, then they know the radius in terms of molecule width. They can work out how many molecules there are in the sphere, and then they can work out Avogadro's number. So there you go.
Lasers.
I don't think they're using. I don't recall lasers being mentioned in the methodology, but I forget exactly how they're doing it.
Veritasium's got a video about that. The most spherical object. I forget the metal it's made of, and it was polished, much as Blue polishes his balls. And it's or it was used as the standard for the kilogram.
Yeah, there was.
And it's the most perfect sphere that there was in existence.
They actually have changed that standard today, though. It's measured.
It's
light nanoseconds. Yeah.
Well, it's measured as the 1 kilogram is the weight that gives a particular value of Planck's constant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm thinking of. A meter. Yeah.
Yep.
You have a. It may not be all that difficult. I mean, I have several books on telescope making, amateur telescope making, and using just some basic tools you can make at home, you can actually grind and polish mirrors to within a quarter wavelength of light. So
yeah,
they and that's with just standard shop tools. So I think you could probably get pretty accurate, but a molecule, that's not much room for error there.
No.
Yeah.
Well, as I say, they were being funded. There was something like the National Institute of Metrology or whatever it is.
Yeah. I got to wonder though, just how many decimal places for Avogadro's number do you really need?
Well, it's an integer, right? You ought to be able to work it out. You ought to be able to work it out completely. It's some integer number. You don't need to go to decimal places. It's just a really big integer, and we normally express it as a real number. But yeah, it's just a weird. It's one of these things that you think, well, how accurately do I need it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. That was perhaps way too much science nerdery.
Actually, no, that's perfect for pub chat. And speaking of science nerdery, speaking of science nerdery here, Blue, what would you think if you just off the top of your head, how many actual man hours do you got into Cavendish right now?
Oh Lord, I don't even want to think about that. It's a lot.
I had a feeling you weren't going to want that question.
It's quite a few. I wish I was being paid by the hour. I'll just put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, goodness. There's been many an hour put in that thing. Yeah, but you can't. I mean, it just takes time to do these things.
Yeah. And to be able to sit back after and, say that you built it, you did it, you got the results, the whole 9 yards, that's going to be pretty cool. That's you and Sensible got that thing going on right now where there's a lot of personal reward in the end, no matter what.
Well, there is, but I'm not going to be able to go out and impress the ladies and say, hey, do you want to come back to my place and see my perfectly symmetrical balls?
You never know, it might work.
Yeah. Well-known fact that scientists are only in it for their ability to go out and pick up with their experiments. That's
yeah. It's all about it's all about the Benjamins and the impression and the cool cat lifestyle with the ladies. Oh, too funny. Too funny. So let's see here. We got a couple of really cool projects on the go. We passed it around and we a couple of morons and whatnot. Oh, Dr. Bob, how about a little chat about the idea of an upcoming astronomy show?
Well, I can do that anytime. The only problem is we don't have any stars.
Yeah.
This is Michigan.
Yeah, this time of year is very weather depending. I don't think you could schedule something ahead of time. It would just be, hey, we got a night, let's go.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things. I think we'll probably have clear skies again about May.
Yeah.
And, I haven't seen any stars in 2 weeks.
Really?
No, it's been my telescope sitting in the corner. I don't even bother looking right now.
Yeah, I've got mine kind of in its storage position right now. But, I don't have anything out there. Plus, I jinked my back about 3 weeks ago, and I can't lift it anymore. So I've got to heal up a little bit before I can try and do that again.
Definitely.
I used to have teenagers to move it around for me. I don't have those as much anymore.
Yeah, the best night sky I ever saw was when I was at sea in the Navy, and we were doing my sub surfaced, and we were doing a surface transit, and so we were in the middle of the North Atlantic. I mean, literally thousands of miles from the nearest light source, and the stars were amazing. It was like a blanket in the sky. I was amazed that you could actually pick out constellations from the blanket of stars that was up there. It was kind of amazing. I'm a kid from Jersey, so I never got to really see. I lived within, sight of New York City, so it was always kind of light polluted, but this was absolutely amazing.
I went out the other day to a dark sky area about 45 minutes from me, and I looked up and I actually saw Andromeda for the first time just looking at it. I mean, it's pretty obvious in a dark night.
Cool.
Is it Betelgeuse that they're talking about is going to be potentially nova soon?
Yeah, it's going to supernova sometime in the next 30,000 years, they think. It's kind of varying a little bit now. It's kind of...
It might have already.
Keep an eye out for that then.
Yeah. Well, it might have already, right?
Yeah, it could have, yeah.
Yeah, well, by the time the light gets to us, we'll know. Trust me.
Oh, you mean I missed it? I missed it.
They said it'll be visible during the day. It'll be so bright.
Yeah.
Rival the moon at nighttime.
I really, really hope to see something like that in my lifetime. But
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I think they're wrong. I'd put the figures somewhere between 27.5 and 28,000 years. Prove me wrong.
You remind me very much of my astrophysics lecture. We got in there, and he said the great thing about astrophysics is by the time anybody proves that you're wrong, you'll have been dead for hundreds of years. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I personally, I want to get, I want the full Walt Disney Frozen treatment so I can get woke up to see it. I mean, if the technology isn't quite there and I'm only going to get an hour or two and then, just fall apart or whatever because they didn't do it right, I'll still get to see it. That's good.
I just don't want to wake up with my head in a jar.
Yeah. Yeah. With the shit we feed Kevin, he wouldn't want to. That's for sure.
So, Bob, with Alcor, is it Alcor Life Extension? You'll have to go for the whole body freeze, not just the head freeze then.
That's right.
Bit pricey.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what would that cost? because that's.
Well, I know
have-
a guy down on a
I
street
have to
corner,
admit, I
but
haven't looked into it.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure none of us can afford it. Well, some of you may be able to, but I know I couldn't.
not I.
Simon Dan could.
Probably. They're probably one of his sponsors. So.
Did you guys know that you can buy a ticket on a Blue Origin flight into space even now? Would you put your $150,000 up for, I think, 11 minutes?
If
I
I
have to
was,
say,
it depends on the cash I got kicking around. So if I was some cashed up dude that had a couple of really fancy Italian sports cars in a garage, absolutely. But right now, as my life is for 14 minutes, no, gonna have to do better than that.
I'd put yours up in a heartbeat.
Exactly, right?
Definitely.
It would almost be worth us stumping up and putting Nathan Oakley up there.
Oh,
only if you could pick him out.
Please don't tempt me.
well, maybe if we, well, actually, I think that Nathan Oakley is the wrong choice just for a start, because he is a lying sack of shit, and it doesn't matter what you show him, he's always going to go. But maybe if we tell them they can leave him there, they'll only charge us half price.
Yeah.
I'm happy
I'd
to
like
pay
to
double. I'll pay double
I'd
if
like
they
to
leave
take-
him.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd like to take Nathan Oakley. Just make it easy. I would like to take him just over to the White Cliffs of Dover and kick his fucking ass over the edge. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
It's probably not just you. I was arguing with
For the benefit of the homicide investigators later surveying this this particular broadcast, allow me to say that I was in no way involved in the conspiracy that unfolded after this, and I don't know what happened to Nathan Oakley, but it was probably a coincidence.
I was involved, and I'm quite happy to do time for it.
My attitude is he isn't important enough for me to make plans about.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a great attitude.
That's a good one.
I had
For the
to
record.
argue with a guy about this very subject a couple of years ago, because it's always been my contention that space tourism is going to be the final death knell of the so-called flat Earth movement. But his contention was, well, it's just going to be HD screens for Windows, and they're going to like the vomit comet for weightlessness. And I was like, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard, because you can't be weightless for 10, 15 minutes to an hour, depending upon the type of orbital flight that they take. But yeah, he wanted nothing of it. They're just going to come up with some way to poo-poo it and say it isn't real, it isn't going to work, and it's all fake CGI. And right to the point, one guy said, well, they'll just drug you and you'll think you have done it. So okay.
Yeah. There is absolute so I think what you said at the beginning about the end of it as a movement, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very hard to sucker average people in to taking this seriously. Exactly. But the hardcore paranoiacs, you're never going to change their mind. Anything, according to them, anything can be faked. And there's absolutely there's nothing that they won't do, that the evil they won't do to preserve this. So they're barnacled on to this movement, and they're never going anywhere. The plot hole tells EiE Network that I am fake. That was between us, Johnny O. That was not. You weren't supposed to tell anybody. Okay.
Well, if everybody,
sorry, Dick.
If everybody wants in on the gag, PhD Tony is actually an AI that we have created in the Shills layer.
Wow, we are awesome.
Yeah. I was drunk one night, had nothing to do. AB Science and a couple of those guys showed up, and it was one of those things. It was either AI or hookers. We went with the AI,
One evening. That's just amazing. Wow. I wish the technology existed that some of these science deniers claim is being used.
Oh yeah,
that would be awesome.
I agree. Some of the things like, yes, we are Johnny O. Come on, get that link. Join in. Some of the things they come up with, like this holographic sun and whatnot. You can't just arbitrarily beam a holograph into the sky because you want to. Like, if we could imagine what video gaming could be, you'd be in your backyard running around killing people, and the neighbors would be like, "Oh, he's playing that new game." It would be amazing.
Right. You remember back when? Sorry,
go ahead.
I remember back when we were talking about the 1950s, right, or the 1940s or the 1930s. As memory serves, they still had a sun back then, right?
Yes. Yep.
I think there was when there was the baby Jesus as well.
I seem to recall that there is mention of the sun in the Bible. Yes.
Yes.
Although didn't it stop at one time? So maybe there was a glitch in the holographic projector.
Oh, maybe.
And that holographic projector is seriously old because the Egyptians worshipped that sun. Right. So, I mean, seriously, that's a well-designed piece of kit. It lasted a long time. Give them credit.
There's some ancient Chinese records of eclipses going back, much farther than that.
Well, yes, and actually, we use those. So, there was a paper that came out recently that used ancient records of eclipses to prove that recent sea level change is unusual and hasn't been going on for the past 4,000 or 6,000 years, as some people. Because if sea level had been increasing over that time interval, it would have affected Earth's moment of inertia. The mass redistribution would have changed the rotation characteristics, which means that the eclipses wouldn't have occurred at the times and in the places that they are recorded as being. So they actually used the historical records of eclipses to sort of infer that Earth's rotation hadn't been seriously affected by sea level over that interval. Anyway, that again is too much science nerdism. I don't know how Phil refrains from it quite as much as he does, but yeah, there you go.
That's actually kind of amazing.
Not very much. I'm being teased in the side chat, and I want you all to go blow goats. So Johnny O joined. How you doing, buddy?
Well. Fancy seeing a bunch of you people here.
How are you, man?
I'm good. What's going on?
Oh, we're just all
you people. I did say you people, PhD Tony, because you're not a person.
Yeah. The cat's out the bag, right? We know what's really going on now.
We done did it to ourselves, Tony.
God damn it! It was going so well.
I thought it was perfect. I didn't know that it was a secret anymore. I apologize for blowing your cover.
People were reacting to me like I had emotions. It was
yeah. Actually, you're like Data with the emotion chip installed. We haven't fully turned them on yet, only the rage and the anger, but we'll get to the rest.
And the alcohol tolerance.
Yeah. That's the thing about digital intelligence. It can handle alcohol. It's really, really good that way.
Yeah, but is it a happy drunk?
That depends on who's talking to.
Yeah. The more anger, the more he's talking to somebody about pseudoscience bullshit.
Yep.
Good. With rage meter pegs, it's probably Nathan Oakley that's the problem.
I was talking to Kyle, whatever his name is, from the Flat Earth Institute of Science.
Adams.
On
Kyle Adams.
On MC Toon's channel the other day. and like, he had some questions about seismic modeling, and I answered his questions about seismic modeling, and we went on, and then we went on, and I said, well, I have to say, you seem very, you seem sort of genuinely interested in having a conversation, but I tend to get angry when people get obstructionist. And then later on, he's gone, well, we can explain that the MC team brought up travel times from Sydney to Santiago, and he said, well, you can explain that with jet streams. And MC team said, well, you would need the plane to be flying at 4 times its maximum speed, and jet streams aren't that strong. And he's gone, well, yes, they are. You can explain it with jet streams. Both ways? Yeah, you can explain it with jet streams. And I'm just going, okay, so how do jet streams impact seismic wave travel times, tsunami travel times, car travel times? How are these? How boat travel, ship travel times? How does it affect those? He goes, well, it doesn't. Well, then your explanation's useless, isn't it? Right? You're going, and he said, but jet streams explain the planes. Yes, and then you're going to have to introduce another 5 ad hoc explanations rather than accept that the distance is compatible with a sphere. We've got one explanation and it explains everything. You've got one explanation and it explains 1 out of 5 observations. And at that point, I could feel my blood pressure rising. And he didn't quite understand what was going on because as nice as he was a genuine idiot. And he wasn't actually learning from me taking the time to explain stuff. And that actually annoys me a little bit.
So this is what I noticed about him. This was my whole takeaway about this guy.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is JM Truth 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like him, sounds like him, acts like him, might as well be him.
Right.
I so wanted you or MC Toon to ask him what it was like to be a modified sniper.
He got asked that in the super chats.
I missed it. You mean I missed it? Damn it! I had to step away for a bit because
somebody else has to read. Somebody else has to read Jessica G's comment for Blue Marble Science.
Wow. Oh, Jessica G. Exactly.
PhD Tony, in regards to Kyle Adams, I have to say, I hate that guy. I've recently done 3 videos about him and his little playlist of flat Earth science lessons, and I hate it because from moment one, it's extremely dishonest. Because he says, well, we're going to approach this from a scientific perspective, and here's my botched version of the scientific method that's just a loop of observation and conclusion. And then he says, what's the biggest evidence for a flat Earth? Well, the biggest evidence is that it looks flat. And I'm like, no, that's only the biggest evidence if you already believe in a massive conspiracy.
Yes.
Like, they always ignore that they have completely brushed over the entire space industry. That they just excuse it away and no, it's all fake.
That's a reification fallacy.
We got Aimee with her hand up for a bit here. We better let her jump in.
Sure, just somebody here who wants to say something.
Stop saying fake! Start saying real!
Comment. Breathe.
Breathe,
what
yes.
were you going to say before?
Get me McDonald's.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, mister, can you please tell me in the talking, why'd you say fake? Tell me why.
That's
because there's lots of things that we deal with that are, people. It's just a word you're going to hear a lot around here, Matt.
What does fake even mean?
So fake means not real. So so you know how a unicorn isn't real, right? There are no such things as unicorns.
You've destroyed my world.
Well, yeah, there you go. Okay. I killed that conversation
you
too.
Still got rainbow power.
I think Matt took off there. I think might be a little bit worked up.
Okay.
Dick, monkey alert.
Is someone
Monkey!
is someone gonna fucking pour me a drink or what? This is a pub, innit? Fucking hell, man.
Hold on.
Do you know what? I give my fucking liver a shock sometimes by having a glass of water, and then it's boom, pour me a fucking vodka and coke. Back to work, bitch.
Hello, monkey. How's it going?
Yeah.
Safe as fuck. You all right?
Yeah, good. Did you get the couple of beer I poured in the toilet for you?
Yeah, man. I always drink out the toilet. You fucking know that. McDonald's is fake.
I was just telling my brother that that's my favorite line from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. There's a line in it where he's leaving a party disheveled after having pretended to be in the toilet for ages and ages, and the host is going, "I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Ventura. I'll have it repaired as soon as possible." And Ace Ventura turns around and goes, "See that you do. If I'd been drinking from the toilet, I could have been killed." It's just my favorite line. Anyway,
there's fuck all
That's
wrong
funny.
with drinking out the fucking toilet, mate. As long as it's filled with vodka, I don't give a fuck.
What if it's used vodka?
What if it's got lumpy bits in it?
It's got alcohol
Yeah,
in it, mate.
That's a little too Riley for me.
What if it's also swimming with corn?
Well, sweet corn. Yeah, I'll go that way. I don't give a shit, mate. If it's fucking crawling along the floor and just crawled out the toilet, I'll have that as well. Flies, whatever, man. Ants.
I feel like a lot of the conversations I killed today with too much science and too much nerdery could have been saved if you'd just been here a little bit earlier, Jutmonk.
No, I'm sure it was very, very interesting and informing for everyone. Just boring as fuck, probably.
Just boring as fuck. That was the big problem, boring as fuck. And everybody else on the panel was too deep into a coma to sort of save it, to realize that I'd stopped talking. It's I think that you are coma proof. That's my argument.
Well,
I
I'm just fucking
here.
insane, mate. I'm a monkey, so there you go. And a pissed up one, which just makes things worse. You know, sometimes I'm really naughty.
Yep. Yes. But Johnny, you were going. Was there some form of announcement? Am I?
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey,
we do. We've got a couple hands up we should get to, and then we can clear up a couple of the housekeeping things because we got some good stuff. So, Amy's got hers up again.
Yeah, sorry, we got a super chat.
Give me McDonald's the plot hole.
Okay, that's super chat, Speedy.
Don't ask me what's my favorite meal.
No, hey,
Morton
nice.
Nielsen for 89 Danish courtesy. McDonald's is fake. Burger King is real.
It's a metal hand.
That's metal hand.
Yeah.
Change the icon to gummy bear
There you go.
right now. If you don't, something will happen.
Uh-oh.
You'll regret it.
Oh, goodness.
Don't forget to add that hashtag in so I can stop being a Karen. Please add this hashtag in right now. Hashtag stop saying fake, start saying real. Add that right now.
Magic.
Well, okay, Matt, I had a question for you. You still there?
What?
Is it real that some things are not real?
Yes.
Okay, so is it fair to say that not real things are fake?
Stop saying fake, start saying real. Yeah.
Hashtag.
All right.
Hashtag.
So
Right
if instead of saying fake we say not real,
Yes.
would that be good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, we can get to it. We can get to a place of agreement.
Yeah. That was really good. And Mike's been waiting too. Is Mike around?
Yes.
Hello, Mike. There he is.
That Dead Kennedy brought up a few minutes ago about it looks flat, therefore that's evidence. No, I'm sorry, that's not evidence. Anything. It's an opinion. That's different. Just saying that you think it is because that's the way it appears to you is your opinion and not evidence. Just wanted to. That one bugs me, so I had to bring that one up.
Well, that whole "it looks flat," I think that's absolutely fair enough as step one.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah? It looks flat. Okay, yeah, fair enough. So let's look into it further. You don't stop there.
Right. Yeah. Instead of saying it looks flat, therefore it is flat, it should be it looks flat. So why does it look flat?
Exactly.
How can we tell if it's flat?
I actually addressed this when I debunked Dubé's 200 fucking proofs with Eric Dubé appears to look like a woman when dressed in drag, but doesn't prove shit that he's a woman.
No, but it does say a lot for the sort of videos you watch, Chuck.
Oh yeah, I got some right Dubé material, mate. I'll show you. Gonna give me your fucking email address then? Do you want to see him dressed in drag or what?
Me, no thanks.
Didn't he dress up as Orphan Red at one point in one of his videos? I think
he did. Yeah.
I've seen video of Mr. S in drag.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's on one of my videos. I can't remember which one.
Level Earth Observer one. You took him apart.
Oh God, tell everyone so they go and have a look.
Fucking hell, man. Someone say something. Have you all just fucking like down in a drink at the same time or something? No one said to me like, come on, let's down a fucking shot.
I thought you were pouring, Monkey.
No, I'm drinking. I don't pour them, I just drink.
Oh, straight from the bottle.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Bob, I put a link to the presidential debate bingo card in the internal chat. So, if you're looking for it, it'll be there.
I watched Derek Van Shake break down the presidential debate. It was pretty. It was a pretty good video as it goes. Well worth a watch. In fact, I might put the link in the chat. Bear with me. Someone fucking speak then. Come on.
We all know that the winner of the vice presidential debate was the fly on Mike Pence's head.
Yeah, absolutely.
You spelled it. You said his name wrong. It's Jeff Goldblum.
It's just
it's Jeff Goldblum
on Pence's head. Yeah.
Really, Dead Kennedy? You don't get that one?
I missed that completely.
Wow. Jeff Goldblum. What's the matter with you?
Oh, the fly. Gotcha.
Fucking hell.
I haven't seen the fly in a long time.
Got to revoke your nerd card.
I still prefer the black and white version.
I like both of them. I do like the remake though. I thought it was a little better as body horror than topical horror. But now you guys are trying to get me to nerd out and film. I don't want to do that.
So what are we talking about? Sorry, I had to go away and answer a phone call.
We're talking about Jeff Goldblum sitting on the top of Mike Pence's head during the vice presidential debate.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
We're wondering what animal is going to be willing to actually attempt to sit on top of Trump's head. This one.
Stephen Colbert was going for rabid fruit bat. That's where he put his money. But
he was hoping for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Time will tell.
Well, I've just put a link in the chat anyway. That's Derek Van Shake, Body Language, who won the debate. And it's an awesome channel. I watch a lot of his stuff. He's usually bang on as well. I don't know if anybody else has seen him, but yeah, check it out. It's funny.
and one of them was on Prince Andrew. Remember when he was being interviewed about his ties to Epstein?
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he did this thing where he was sitting back in his chair with one leg folded over the other, like it's a it's a very neutral thing. And one of the guys was saying, so there's an artery that goes down the back of the calf, and as a result, when you sit like that, your foot bounces slightly as the pressure goes through the artery. So actually, while he's sitting like that, we can measure his pulse rate. And so they had a measure of his pulse rate through the interviews. They were able to work out what questions drove his pulse rate.
Yeah, for sure.
Just Jessica G is asleep in the chat. So it's and Clive Wells is apparently anyway. Sorry, I'm boring people again.
No, man.
I don't think he's asleep. I think the term afterglow may be there.
Anyway.
Hey Bob, did you hear me when I told the link to the presidential debate bingo card is in the internal chat?
Yeah, I just went in the internal chat and left you a note there saying there's no link here.
I just looked at it. What the hell?
Well, I can't tell you. What, I'm on my phone, so see in call messages.
It's pretty high up, I think. Hey, I'll do it again.
What's going on?
Oh, wait, no, it's way up top. Okay, I thought you just did it. I didn't realize I had to scroll up four screens.
For it earlier tonight. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
So
I had to scroll
we wanted,
up
for those who are wondering what we're talking about, there's a presidential debate bingo card, kind of like the Flurf bingo card, for tonight's debate. In case anybody's interested.
Fuck it. Why not? Well, you're going to fucking tell us or what? Is it just like, I've got something really good to tell you, but you can fuck off.
Well, guys, I need to prepare myself for about 15 minutes before we start this thing. So I'm going to kind of bow out right now. Thank you all very much for having me.
No problem, Bob. I hope I didn't, insult a fine gentleman like yourself.
Yeah, I'd stay around if it hadn't been for Jump Monkey coming in. Now I've got to go.
I'm out of here.
Hey, Bob, you guys again. Take care, guys.
Take care, Bob. Mage should be Saturday night, not Friday night. Okay,
that'll be fine.
Cool. Hope to see you then.
You will.
Is that a live stream?
It will be a live premiere followed by a live stream discussion.
Oh, cool.
Be there or be square.
I will be there.
Nice. Hey, Johnny.
What up?
Check the pool table.
What am I looking at? Oh, is there some idiot there? Golly.
Yep.
What the fuck is that on his shirt?
I have no idea. Real music lives. There you go.
There we go.
Got to accept that. Is that the Texas Titans or something?
Texas Titans? What?
Oh, I have no idea. What sports teams you got over there with a T on? It's not Tesla.
It's the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers baseball. Baseball.
Oh, you're a baseball.
Yeah, the only sport where grass growing is more entertaining.
It's not the only one. We've got cricket.
Well, that's true. So you guys have the even more boring version of baseball.
Yeah, the one that takes 3 to 5 days.
Holy shit! I don't understand, man.
Well, the thing with baseball, you've got the World Series, haven't you?
Yeah, it takes.
Do you not think it'd be a good idea to invite someone else from the rest of the world to take part?
Well, to be fair, we do have players from all over the world playing on teams that are only in the States and one from Canada. So.
Yes,
it's like the way where I don't worry about what Canadian teams are in the NHL playoffs, just which team has the most Canadian players playing for the Americans.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you have ratios and all.
Why does everybody on the Dallas Stars talk like this, eh?
Heist.
What is this heist business? Are we gonna go steal some shit?
Yeah, it's a side chat thing.
Oh,
yeah. If you've accumulated some coins, you can actually go into the heist and see if you can get more. But yeah, whatever.
Okay, I don't know what coins are. I don't do this YouTube thing.
Oh, it's a rubbish thing anyway. It's just one of those fun, silly things in the background that, oh, look, I won 100,000. Yay!
I think Dick Dawson went MIA.
Yeah, he went searching for this little avatar for you, but
I see.
He's now, just wait for Dick.
Dick said, "Hey, everybody, get this stuff out of the way so we can make a big announcement," and then he just goes poof.
Are we dickless?
Well, speak for yourself.
Ouch. Yeah, he's done a vanishing act for a few minutes. He said he'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
you can put it in the chat.
We just have to poke the monkey for a minute or two, then.
Yeah, you can fucking try and play with me, boy. Well, set the fucking pool table up and I'll kick your fucking ass.
Oh, you know, 10 years ago, before I fucked up my back, I would beat you up and down that pool hall.
You think so, yeah? No chance.
I can't even fucking see anymore. I can't see. My back's all jacked up. I can't even fucking. So I paid for my first truck.
I used to playing pool.
Yep.
I used to play 2-to-1 someone's money, and I used to play them one-handed, straight up. Straight up. That's honestly.
Yeah, my dick and balls were big enough. I didn't have to do any of that shit.
It's quite easy. It's quite easy to play one-handed. If you rest it on the table, it's when you have to hold it up. That's the tricky shots.
Yeah,
but, rest it on the table. It's really easy to play one-handed, but people don't try it. So
yeah,
I actually learned from a one-handed guy how to play one-arm pool. Believe that. Madness. Yeah, and he was really good. He was awesome at pool, and he fucking. I was just like,
Am I the only one imagining somebody in front of the computer on Pornhub when he says one-handed pool? Is it just me?
No. Jessica G has already gone there in the chat. Yeah. So no, not you.
This one-handed guy, though, Chuck.
So we're not fucking. Go on, sorry, bro.
I was just going to say, man, this one-handed guy. I bet he was absolutely shit at juggling, though.
He was. I've never seen him juggle, mate. I couldn't fucking tell you that.
You ever see him try to run a marionette? What a joke.
Oh, dear. Yeah, man. Dick's back. Hello, mate.
Yeah, sorry, but I ran out of beer, and no, I had to run around the corner for beer.
Oh well, I'm going to pop outside for a smoke now.
Yeah. So, Johnny Plathole, should we let everybody in on what's coming up?
We might as well. We've kind of kicked the pig a little bit, so sure.
Yeah. So, Johnny, what?
I'm the native English speaker. I have never heard the phrase "kick the pig" at all, ever.
You never heard "kick this pig"? Let's kick the pig.
No. It sounds like the most horrible saying ever. Why would you do that?
Wow.
Well, only for the pig.
Yeah, I mean.
Can I go back a little bit? Because the pig bag used to be like a football in old English times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you started a football game, where you kick the pig.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also,
so
sounds horrible. What about enough room to swing a cat?
For people,
that's
because when you pick a cat up by its tail, it goes flailing all crazy so you need a lot of room for that. Not that I know from experience. I just heard. I heard from PhD Tony.
PhD, Jesus. The plot hole and I in the background have been talking, and coming up in the next about 7 or 8 days, whatever it's going to be. We have a new show coming on the channel, and it's going to be all about in-depth dives into music production, albums, songs, players, whatever the hell we want. But it's not going to be fluff. It's not going to be like just reacting or something. We're gonna that, like, as people who know what we're talking about within the music industry and recording and stuff, we are going to go deep, and we are really going to get some cool stuff on the table, aren't we, buddy?
Oh man, we're gonna nerd out on this stuff. This is gonna be nerd. Like, if you're a music nerd, this is gonna be the show for you.
Did anybody else just hear Dick Dawson saying that he was going to go deep on Johnny O? Because that's what I heard.
Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous, Tony.
Yeah. Hey, there's lots of love going around, Tony. It's all good. We get to you soon, buddy.
Well, I'm an AI. I've got infinite porn.
Oh, Jesus.
I think
So,
we'll
yeah,
have to
and,
send you to the principal's office, Tony.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun show. I think we're gonna start. The first one's gonna be our tribute to Eddie Van Halen.
Yes,
because I mean that was a huge loss for the music world, all over, especially guitar virtuosity. That's where it's not may not be where it started, but that is definitely where the bar was raised, and everybody wanted to be. Man, when you heard Eruption for the first time, everybody wanted to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at it this way, Johnny. I mean, the man holds patents on the Floyd Rose system.
And yeah, he's got a few patents, but the Floyd being the biggest one, that's the most used everywhere. Every shredder has a Floyd Rose system on the guitar. Every last one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. At that point, you know, with that invention alone, had he not made it big, he still would have lived well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he made more money off his patents than he did off of his music sales.
Yeah. Yeah, he did well, man. He knew what he was doing, because every time, like, he was very much like his sound was so unique on the first few Van Halen albums. The way he had this beautiful distortion that was tamed so that he could dynamically bring the guitar down, bring it back up and whatnot. It wasn't all compressed like some are overly done and whatnot. And his single track from beginning to end had all the dynamic a song needed.
So what Eddie Van Halen did that a lot of players didn't, that they're starting to do now, Eddie went with the blues style playing when it comes to controlling your dynamics with your guitar and not with your amp. So he would dial in his end tone with his amp, and then he would use the guitar itself to control specifically the gain, you know, using volume and tone knobs. So, and of course the way he attacked his guitar, the way he played.
Oh, his right hand, his picking, his palm muting and stuff is just something to learn from and love.
Yeah, and anybody who's ever going to get into the throes of music shredding, that's where you start, right? That's where you got to start there with Eddie Van Halen. And of course, you'll backtrack a little bit and go towards, you know, look at some of the blues players and Muddy Waters and whatnot, and then you're going to go to, you know, then you'll get back into the blues style shredding, and then you go into, you know, the crazy Yngwie stuff. Well, what's my unpopular opinion on David Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar? They both have their place. I wasn't a huge Sammy Hagar fan, but the tunes were good. I don't think Sammy Hagar is kind of a bitch.
Well, here, let's look at it this way, Johnny O. So David Lee Roth, consummate frontman for the 80s scene and the big showman and whatnot. On the record and in the studio, a great performer, absolutely. Really, really knew what rock and roll was all about. Live, a little bit lacking. Sammy Hagar gave Van Halen the live show they always deserved, that perfection where everything is pulled off really well.
Right.
But the band wasn't as true rock and roll by then. So that's the difference, right?
Yeah, so that's absolutely nail on the head, right? So, and I'll even challenge as far as when it comes to showmanship, David Lee Roth is where it was, right? He's what made Van Halen fun. The high jump kicks and the silly lyrics and I hope I brought my pencil and all that stupid shit that he did. That's what made Van Halen fun.
Damn right,
Sammy Hagar, he brought a professionalism to it. He was a real singer. He can sing, right? He can sing his ass off. David Lee Roth, I mean, he does well for that style, but as far as being an accomplished singer, he is not that at all.
One of his best tracks is Just a Gigolo for actual singing ability, right?
Right, exactly. But yeah, so he is a great performer, excellent stage and just overall likes to have fun. Whereas Sammy Hagar, he's going to be more calculated. He's going to be more professional, which is probably the reason why those two did not get on at all.
Right. Oh, we should. Professor Bell's got his hand up. We should pay attention to those. Sorry, there, Prof.
That's okay. Look, I just wanted to say that unfortunately I have to go, but I just want to thank you all. It's nice to see you all, and thank you all for having me on. Sorry I haven't been as a prolific a contributor as Tony has, or some of the others. But perhaps next time when I'm not snowed under with work, I'd be delighted to join again.
Well, Professor Bell, what we'll do is we'll get your permissions in our Discord server set so that when we post the meets links for the show, you can see them and just join whatever show you feel like joining.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
Awesome.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much for having me.
Take care, bro.
All right, Phil.
Take care, Phil.
Yeah.
Good night.
Take care, Phil.
And on that night, people, I've got to get up in 5 hours, so I'm going to do a fuck off pill as well.
All right.
I'm going to be on
Take
Saturday
care.
for sure, man. I will
Tear
see
one
you
off and
guys.
sleep well.
Fucking oath, man. See you later, man. Good to see you, Mr. Sensible. You're
Yeah,
awesome,
you
bro.
too, Joe. We've got a hook up soon.
Yeah, man. Take care, guys. Later.
Later, buddy.
Fuckers.
Cheers, Monk.
Guys, I'm going to call it a night as well. The latest chunk of my rendering is just about to finish, and I think I'll kick off. I've got one. I've probably got 2 more chunks to do. So what I'll do is I'm going to have to kick off the next one and go to bed and do the last one tomorrow. I can't take any more.
Right.
So I'm going to say thanks ever so much. It's been it's been emotional.
That's a Guy Ritchie reference.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Guys, take care. See you soon.
See you.
See you soon, Mr. S. Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye.
See you, man.
All right. Well, I know we're coming up on 2 hours here. We just hit 2 hours. And with Colin behind the controls right now, we probably shouldn't push too long because, man, he's going to be up all night.
That did seem like a sign that the pub is about to close, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
We've lost Bob, and
Yeah,
you've got the USA debate coming soon.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, should we work our way around the table then and
yeah.
see what people are thinking. You want to go first?
Let's do it. Sure. I thought that was an amazing chat tonight. With Dr. Bob not here right now, he's another who's going to be having access to our meets links all the time. So with Professor Bell and Dr. Bob, you're going to see them a lot on Pub Chat and the Shills going forward. So, make them feel welcome. They're going to be part of the family. Great night.
Absolutely. Very well said. I'll echo that for myself. I had a good time. It's been we've had some interesting topics, some interesting things said, and I always enjoy just sitting down and chatting with everyone. It's a nice break during the absolute fucking chaos that is 2020. Let's see, PhD Tony, what do you think?
Oh, well, I always have a good time, but then again, I enjoy the sound of my own voice. So, what's not to love? I do feel a bit self-conscious about having talked quite as much as I did. So apologies for that, but I'll get the hang of it. I'll find this. I'll find a happy medium at some point. Anyway, always great to hang out with you guys. Of course, I'll be appearing with the wonderful Johnny O and the other beardsmen on Sunday, and I hope to have a new video out in the not too distant future about entropy.
Cool.
Excellent. Big Blue, what do you think of tonight?
It was the part I was able to join in for. Unfortunately, I was pretty late getting here, but yeah, it was a good chat. You guys did well. I've got just a couple more things to do tomorrow, and I think we might have Cavendish ready to run. So
yes,
keep an eye on the channel. There may be we may be starting to see some things happen here now. Anyway, thanks guys. Had a good time. See you later.
Awesome.
See you later, Blue.
Oh, and Blue, I'll get a hold of you tomorrow, and we'll make sure we go over a couple of the rooms to make sure you always got the links when you want, right?
Yeah, good deal.
Okay, cool, buddy.
Excellent. And Colon, in charge of everything, what do you think of tonight?
Oh, just sitting in the background here, chilling out and listening to all these great guys, just nattering away. It's been fun. A little bit of baby angst in the background. My granddaughter's having a little bit of a bad night, but hey, I think she's got teeth coming through.
Yeah.
Fun. Johnny was having some connection issues. Can you still?
Not just him. Everybody's a robot for me too right now. It's really weird.
Really? Mine sounds fine.
Yeah. I think Factard's hearing it too. He put in the chat. I think we're okay now, though. I think it went back to clear.
That's weird. Okay, well, Johnny, if you're still with us, what did you think?
Well, for the brief time I got to hear PhD Tony prattle on about God knows what and his gas pressure being an AI guy. No, I'm kidding. I actually enjoyed tonight. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed, giving you guys a little bit of a preview of what the new plot hole Dick Dawson show is going to sound like. So,
yeah, that was cool. See how quickly we fell into that. We got a winner.
That was too easy. I'm really close to 1,000 subs. So if you haven't subbed to the plot hole, go do that for me. I think I'm like 132-ish away, give or take.
Oh, let's get the link in the chat here.
Someone is already on that.
Oh, I'm usually slower than our mods. They're way better than me.
I saw Mippet was on it earlier, so she'll probably be there again. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Well, yes, of course I did. Aimee and Matt, what did you guys think of tonight?
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. That was a great conversation, and I'm excited about the new show.
Colin, I have some sad news. I heard a baby.
Yeah, it's okay. The baby's getting new teeth. Can you say sorry?
Sorry for yelling, though.
That's okay, buddy.
I very much have to appreciate the sentiment there that just hearing a baby is sad news to Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad when they're sad, isn't it?
It is.
It's
true. Sad for everybody. That's the problem. They're very good at making people know that they're unhappy. It's what babies do.
Yeah.
Yes,
they're definitely like the ultimate example of like how human beings tend to reflect the emotions of who they're talking to.
Yeah.
Like everybody smiles when a baby smiles. Everybody's unhappy when a baby's unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we want you to be happy, Matt. We're happy when you're happy.
Darn right, buddy.
Be happy, right?
Did they get pulled?
Nope, they don't get pulled because they're just new teeth. Just getting new ones. Just like you did.
Yes.
Not time for that yet. Well, should we say goodbye, everyone? Have we got any last words, last things to shill, anything like that?
Yeah. Don't be an absolute twit. Stay with your own wit and learn what's real in life. Don't fall into do your own research unless you're actually learning the truth. Oh, wow, that almost didn't work.
All right. When we say how stupid can you be, that is not a challenge.
Well said. Well said. I guess that's it from us. I do want to thank everyone for coming, and I will see you over the curve, Space Cowboys. Say goodbye, everyone.
Good night, fellow babies.
Good night.
Bye.
Don't forget to unshare and subscribe. Sorry about that.
Bye-bye.
Bye.